Oh, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's complete the week, shall we? I mean, last night I wobbled. I didn't think I was gonna make it. I thought last night's show was mediocre. But you know what? New day. Me, I'm sure I'm like you. I'm sure together we are our harshest critics. You know what? I played it back again and again. And it's really not bad. There's something in there about those pharmaceutical stocks. That setup. Anyway, let me do the introduction. Oh my god, what was I saying? Yeah, I hope you've been enjoying it. Shit. Yeah, shit. Okay, ladies. Ladies, oh dear ladies, where are you? There are no ladies on St. Bart's. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am back. Hugh Hendry. I'm in St. Bart's. Oh my god, it has been very, very hot today. Right, come on, I've got to concentrate here. I've got to get this a single take. I've done an intro. New highs today in the market. People smiling. I'm going to come to that. But yeah, I think I was parsing my notes, and you know, the new highs that we did see in the S&P. I could also mention the Dow Jones, but why bother? If the market is to continue, it's going to need sector rotation to sustain itself. I mean, that just seems, I hate to be Mr. Logic, but that seems logical. And it's our job to have the wit and the curiosity to decipher which sector that could possibly be. They could does it take the baton? I'm not sure. Just like joins in the running, joins in the frenzy. What did I write last night? I'm thinking that the king, the trader, is the man who blinks slowly. Do you blink slowly as a stampede approaches you, or you don't blink at all? I don't think that makes any blinking sense. Anyway, what the hell, Hendry? But the drug stocks. Oh my God, Thelonious Monk is like hitting a bit of an annoying note there. Drugs, concentrate. The drugs are a screamer. The charts are, except like for me, I've had so many voices in my head today. You know, and you know that line, Eli Lilly, huge boring pharmaceutical stock. Hey, did Lilly make Ozempic, or does Ozempic make Eli Lilly? Increasingly, it feels like the latter. But, you know, again, not to go back over the entrails of last night, but to just emphasize the point. Long, listless, sideways trading for more than a decade, 15 years, 20 years, I think, 22 years in the case of Merck. And you're not buying on the first double. You're able to buy just on the line. I'm going to say it again. In my humble but long experience, these prices are primed to explode. You just certainly can't be a long only. I mean, you never want to be a long. Trust me, you never want to be a long only unit trust manager trying to beat an index. It is damn impossible. But you should think about being overweight the pharmaceutical sector. Just love the energy of those charts. And Jesus, like, look at a biotech ETF. I mean, positively orgasmic. Still coughing, I'm still taking tons of antibiotics. Not good. I did, however, run, maybe that's contributing, but I ran 5 kilometers barefoot on the beach. And again, traders, those of you listening, where is your discipline? You know, what things do you do on a weekly basis that kind of mark your character? Me, twice a week, I run 5 kilometers on the beach of Celine. It's wonderful, but I get for about 30 minutes or so. My heartbeat is pumped up about 160 beats to the rhythm. Anyway, these acid monologues, hope you've been digging them, but my God, they're getting long. I mean, last night was like 26, 27 minutes. Really sorry about that, but sincerely, I hope you're ready to keep tuning in. Anyway, day 3 of the shutdown. And, you know, I love the shutdown. The jobs report is locked in a drawer. Let's think, what is it, a metal drawer? But it's an old-fashioned drawer. But it's a bit musty. Probably smells a little bit. I hope it does. I hope it's got velvet inside the drawer. The jobs report is locked in. Did anyone look? I would have looked. And yet, regardless, it's all existential. The market climbs. The Dow. Okay, I mentioned the Dow Jones. Is it 1929? When did we begin with the S&P? The S&P was barely changed, but barely changed these days counts as a record. The Dow. It wasn't me to tell you it was up 0.5%. 0.5%. I'm now quoting decimal points. Thank you, Dow. Bugger off. And your new record. The Nasdaq, the Qs, dipped a little on the end, a bit of profit taking. But for the week, all the American stock indices, they're up over 1%. That is not fear. That is not loathing. It's not even chaos. It's just people kind of shrugging and being optimistic. History, and it's all about data points. And sadly, we've got several data points of these farcical shutdowns. But the data suggests they barely dent the markets. Today, I think, confirmed that. Data, or the absence of it, let me just say it. Non-farm payrolls, Freaky Friday, delayed, postponed, I wish, indefinitely. Jobless claims, delayed, I wish, forever. Other Labour Department releases, missing in action. Again, hopefully, will never return. Only the plucky private sector. We got the ISM services. This is another one of these diffusion indices that we've been discussing this week. And the print survived. Of course it did. Private sector. And then just delicious, more irony. The boys and the girls, they had it pegged before it was released. Oh my God, move on, Thelonious. They had it pegged. Oh my God, hold on. I've got hold. Stop. Forgive me. I had to bin Thelonious. He just seemed to be stuck. It was just like rifling through my mind as I was trying to concentrate. Listening to a bit of, oh man, I like this Jackson Pollock, you know, the drip painter. And there's a playlist out there. I actually bought it like 100 years ago at the MoMA, Museum of Modern Art in New York. And I like playing this on a lazy, sunny morning. Anyway, ISM diffusion index for the services, and it and people like they want expansion. Of course they do. We're talking about 80% of GDP, and it comes in at 50. Perfect neutrality. Switzerland itself. No growth, no contraction. Is it stall speed? I don't know. A break even for a very, very, very large component of the economy. I love it. Beige, mauve, a kind of silver version of lavender. The turkeys are thrashing themselves to death, strutting and tutting. I even read a nonsensical article in the digital version of Financial Times today about the injustice of it all. We're having to trade with no data. We're flying. What is today's title? Flying blind. Honestly, I want to go round to their offices in London and New York. I want to smash these bloody sympathy violins. Fuck off, you bloody goons. You know, intuition, experience, watch prices. Anyway, sorry. Parents, forgive me. I am not an advocate of violence. Just for the record. So that was just a little bit over the top. Anyway, self-editing. I'm back to the ISM services. Yeah, the goons, the people that actually follow these things, they wanted an abomination. They actually wanted. They wanted a decimal point. They wanted 51.7. What do we say? First two numbers, set it in motion. 51. They wanted expansion. The 0.7, come on, vanity, bugger off. And I'm happy to report, all they got was ambiguity, which, again, this blasted word experience, it's the natural state of the macro mind. So, let me summarize. Stocks up, records made, bonds stable. This sounds like the shipping news. Gold's been a little bit dull the last 2 days. I think it deserves to be dull. It's dull. It's been positively strutting around as if it's on cocaine. Talking of cocaine, Bobby Digital. I did have a manager friend, and was it a week? Was it 10 days ago? Bitcoin was down at 106. Equity markets near the highs. He's like, you got to sell the markets. Wrong. Got to buy Bobby Digital. Markets. What are risk markets? What have they done this week? They've had a good opportunity. They've not been disturbed by manic price surges. They've had a good opportunity to read and reflect on the world. And they're reflecting on the inevitability of Federal Reserve rate cuts at the end of this very month. And the abundance of AI. And how maybe it helps very large moribund sectors like the pharmaceutical sector to break on through to the other side. Are we about to see these long-standing price ceilings flip? Ceilings can become floors. That would be intriguing. That's your fact pattern. Now the story, what can we talk about today? Traders flying blind, cute. Yeah. So, no flashlight, and I'm saying good. If I had a choice, I would turn the fluorescent buzz off. I'd let your eyes adjust. My favourite scene from the Star Wars is it Alex Guinness? Who's now kind of like, who was killed by Darth Vader, sorry. Plot killer? It's not plot killer, is it? We all know that. Feel the Force, Luke. Turn the machines off. What? Says Luke. He's got whatever. Spacecraft gunners up his ass. And he's trying to eye the needle, try to take down the Death Star. He's using AI, I imagine. And he's just off. Turn the machines off, Luke. The price still glows in the dark. That's enough. Boom! Death to the Death Star. Anyway, in the prep, as I kind of, became my shamanic self to try and do the one cut for you all, I'm reminiscing. The reminiscences of a stock operator. No, that's not what I'm not going to talk about Jesse Livermore. I'm going to call him Bill. I mean, I should just call him Bill. I'm going to call him Bill Lipschutz. His real name is Lipschutz. Bill Lipschutz. And I don't know what age I was when I read this. The Schwager Market Wizards. Was I 27 or was I 33? Or within that range. But I just loved these tales. And you will too if you have not read them. You must seek them out. And they've been updated by new versions, but the originals were published towards the very, very end of the 1980s, after the 87 crash. And Bill Lipschutz was in there, and it was one of my favourite stories because he dreams a major report. Now, my telling of the story, and I have told the story countless times, he dreams and this is why I'm talking about it, he dreams it's the night before, and he dreams the non-farm payrolls figure. Not vibes, but numbers. He dreams the figure, the revision. And he's a currency trader, and he dreams the price path of the dollar. And he's got it absolutely, like, this will happen, and then this will nudge this to happen, and then because of that, the reaction will be... He nails it. And in my telling, like I said, it's the employment. It actually, back then, shows you how... It shows you that this back then, this is pre-China and the rise of the Death Star and the almighty enormity of mercantilism. But prior to that, the monthly balance of payments, the trade account, that was as big, if not bigger, than non-farm payrolls. Life changes, people. Let's reflect on change. Not too long, because I've got a story to tell you. So he dreams it, absolutely nails it. And on the Friday, it all happens exactly. And he does nothing. He refuses the dream. He's got plenty of rules, and that's his discipline. And my God, Bill Lipschutz is a legendary trader. He went on to open his own hedge fund, which is still operating today. And trading currency is damn tough. That's process. But it just killed me. I can get that, like, my Whoop, these wristband health monitors, and I got it because I was just fascinated I wanted to see a chart of my mind as I slept, because as you know, we sleep, but we also process a lot of information. So Bill's story did not come as a surprise. The great surprise was he didn't trade on it. I'd have damn traded on it. And then also, it got me thinking more. And I was like, and these are just little fragments of fragmental anecdotes that I've carried long time. And today I was using the AI. I was using the artificial intelligence to find out. Because I was like, what was that story? And I have to tell you, the OpenAI couldn't get it. OpenAI could not get it. The Grok, the mighty Grok, which I hate that name, but the mighty Grok, it got it. However, the Grok itself let itself down twice today. Like the errors they make, it's just insane. And it made profoundly bad, simple errors. Which reminds me, I was in Paris at the beginning of June, and I had an appointment with the kind of the doctor that checks all the kind of how can I say this politely, all of your major orifices in the downstairs department, just to make sure, like, we're all seeking longevity, we're all seeking clean passage to the other side. Shut up myself. I was in and I had an appointment at the American Hospital in Paris, which if you're not familiar with, is one of the most beautiful hospitals in the world. It's in a beautiful, can I say sleepy? Not so sleepy summer, but in the summer it's wide avenues, beautiful trees, and they even have like red carpets on the outside. Anyway, I had all of my instruction. I had a report how to get there, and I decided to drop it into the OpenAI. I said, just give me a few prompts. How should I get there? What time should I leave my hotel? I didn't think much about it. Followed the instruction meticulously, and it took me to it decided to make up not make up, but to send me to another hospital, to send me to another doctor. They were miles apart. Anyway, so I was using machines today. But I was also using the Force, and the Force was telling me about the story of Victor how do you say his name? Commonly known as Trader Vic. Vic Sperandeo. And he is a legitimate legend. I met him once, which is not what this story is all about. I've kind of met all of the legends, and pretty much all of them are kind of a little bit disappointing. Have not met Stan. Did not meet George actually, but yeah, I may as well have met everyone else in his entourage. Yeah, Vic, I really don't like Vic. Anyway, that's really nasty. Vic, sorry, you don't have the opportunity to stand up for yourself. Just kind of, you weren't what I was expecting. The things you said kind of was like, really? Shut up, kind of thing. Anyway, in Market Wizards, he talks about how he trained a former high school dropout, a former phone clerk. I wrote that down. What is a phone clerk? I think they would be an agent now, a digital agent on AI. And no one uses phones. He was a phone clerk on the American Stock Exchange. So yeah, you'd phone in, he would take instruction. And he was a Vietnam veteran. Now, as I remembered the story, heavens, the music has stopped. What's going on? What happened to Lazy River? Let's try a bit of Solitude. Oh, that's better. And this is more appropriate. My memory of the story was this kid, this ex-Vietnam guy, he had live ammo. He had a grenade from his time in Vietnam, and he would periodically pull the pull the pin. Obviously put it back in. That's how I recorded that tale. But it turns out it wasn't live ammo, or it kind of was. He had shrapnel from a near miss. Shrapnel in his pancreas. And he always kind of thought about the shrapnel, lived with it, and he traded with it. And he was kind of paranoid, afraid. He's always quick to cut his risk positions. So for him, fear was his edge. In a room full of clever sophisticates, other kids who argued with their losses, who changed their narratives. This kid, he amputated instantly. It wasn't prophecy, it was what he called survival. And I think, because I went on to adapt that story, I called myself, obviously, that Steve Drobny, in a similar kind of setting of Market Wizards and interviews with traders, he invented the plasticine macro trader, but I was the centipede, the notion of 100 legs. And I traded with fear. The fear, they would find me, and they would pull me out, and they would close me down. So I was loath to take losses, and so I was very much against concentrated bravado funds, my best idea funds. Best idea, listen to that, is so charged with stasis, charged with the status quo, inertia, very hard. How do you give up on your best idea? It's like having 2 arms, 2 legs. How could you cut one arm off, one leg off? Even if you had to, you would argue. You would argue as the losses. You would argue as your fate became desperate. You would argue, not I. I, the centipede, I amputated immediately. I had 99 other legs to worry about. damn, I'm reminiscing. It is the reminiscences of an acid stock trader. And then, Michael Marcus. What about Michael? Michael his story was amazing. And he took a big bet on silver. Just on a feeling. I mean, that's all you can do in silver and gold is silver and gold. That sounds like the U2 song. Silver and gold, you trade it. There are no fundamentals. It's pure gut. But I mentioned Michael, and I mentioned my run on the beach today. Disciplines. What are you doing? What conversation are you having with yourself to keep you on track? Michael kept a loser's log. I love that. Can you imagine? I mean, this true story. When I was like, I think 7, when I was living in the violent housing project, I remember these Sunday mornings, not Saturday mornings, and I had this. It's not A4. That very large paper, and it was like cardboard paper, and my parents stuck it together into this big book, and it was I dreamt of it being my captain's log, and I would write these little tales about the scrapes that me and my merry band of pirates, as we were stranded off the Bay of Biscay. We'll come back to the weather, the shipping news later. But yeah, imagine a loser's log. Because you got, like, mistakes are a bitch, but they're valuable. You can learn. So yeah, act on intuition, and I think Marcus, he's got a great saying: you have to be willing to be wrong to be right. Did he? I mean, he couldn't have made that up. I mean, that must be the Romans or something. You have to be willing to be wrong to be right. That's what I say to these damn clueless. Honestly, when the Financial Times, you see it in the weekend in the hard print, the people. It's a roll call of shame if you get cited in these preposterous articles they do apropos about nothing. People complaining about not having the data. Be willing to be wrong, people. Got to be wrong to be right. Anyway, let's get this thing damn finished. Still can't believe that liposuction ignored the dream. I never ignore the dream. Always obey the fear. I remember I was it again last night, respect the volatility. If you want something that's damn volatile, and I think, like, if you're starting as a hedge fund, own the most volatile creature that's in an uptrend presently. That's Bitcoin. That's my creed. But make it pay for you. My indignation about the gold mining stocks is they've got this profound volatility without reward. I mean, life's ride is rough. So the return must be rich, or else you ain't going to join me in St. Ports. Bloody mining stocks. Don't subsidize someone else's conviction. Stay sharp. Sharp is all about the return you get, calibrated by the amount of, like, price variance that you're taking. Sharp is dignity. Stay dignified. And of course, define exits before you start loitering around entries. Define your damn exit, how you get out of there. I think I mentioned that before. Be a world-class loser. Imagine how it goes wrong. Write down what you would do and implement it should it happen, even if it was a dream. And remember, the missing non-farm payroll report doesn't create blindness. I call it silence. It silences the alarms, or it doesn't silence the alarms, they just bleat louder. But the joy of silence is it forces honesty. It demands that you just look around at your neighbour. It demands that you look at price, what's happening, what's breaking and what's not bouncing. So breathe, define your X's, demand to be paid for any volatility pain. Smile at the silence, at the absence of economic data. Rejoice. It's a vision test. I know you can pass it. Well, I think we've done it. Oh, I think I've strayed over that 20 minutes again. I've got a villa party on Sunday. Yeehaw. Did I tell you I took my paddle? I've got a gigantic, I think about 15 foot, beautiful fiberglass thing, French. And I did, like, the water was like a pond, and I must have done 6, 7, 8 kilometers. Came back, rogue wave hit me, lost my sunnies. $1,100. I lost my sunnies. So I'm going back to that spot tomorrow, and I'm going to try and swim around the coral, see if I can find them. Drop me a note, ask me a question. Why not? Anyway, as the end approaches, I was thinking, breathe, my brothers and sisters. Breathe. Respire, that's French for breathe. Markets at records. The jobs data still in the drawer. Dream, imagine. Chuckle at the economists and the lambs clutching incense sticks with no flame. But the tape is calm. The noise may be loud. And remember, nobody, and I mean nobody, ever blew up on a Saturday. I'm sure that's not true. And another anecdote, but the Fed used to announce policy decisions on Saturday mornings. I read this about Paul Volcker, and here we are, and it's like the expectation, the certainty the Feds are going to cut interest rates by 25 basis points on the 28th of this month. Volcker came in. He didn't do 25 basis points. He did 1.5 percentage points, 150, baby. And he's like, cigar in mouth, like, there's a new sheriff in town. I understand the market opens on Monday. Here's 125 basis point, no, 150 hike. Enjoy the weekend. Anyway, that was then. This is now. Take the win, people. Close the screens. Pour yourself a drink. The prices will gossip again, starting late Sunday as the Japanese begin the merry circus once more. But until then, stop the twitch, be the king, do not chase. And remember, the pressure. I'm doing the shipping news. I'm sorry, I just love it. This music is so bad. Stop. The weather news, the shipping news, pressure. Bloody high. Winds negligible. Sea state calm. Visibility moderate. Outlook no change. My brothers and sisters, take care. Have a wonderful weekend. And when it all starts up again next week, trade the urge to trade. Don't trade for the sake of it. Imagine. I want you to spend the weekend imagining what's going to take place next week. And if anything of it happens, trade.